It was late December 2023. We were on a family bear hunt. Sherry and our son Chevy had gone into town to get some supplies we needed, and she got an alert for this property that had been listed. We'd been looking at houses and, tossing around what we wanted to do, and she was so excited when she came back. Chevy was too. This was exactly what we'd wanted, what we had sat and watched so many hours of YouTube, dreaming of the ability to have that lifestyle and live it ourselves. So we went and looked at it. I loved it too. It was a beautiful place, off-grid, beautiful house, plenty of property, lots of options, even already had an RV in place with a rental income. So I said, let's do it. So we made our offer, worked out a deal, and the end of January we closed, moved in. And boy, were we taken by surprise. This lifestyle was a lot harder than we imagined. Inadequate solar system, inadequate heating. It made life really challenging for us. No wood splitter, trying to heat with a fireplace. It was foolish. But there we went, trying to attack each problem one at a time, trying to tweak the solar system, to try to manage the way we use electricity and be as frugal as possible so that we can make it through each day with the lights on and the fridge running. Just want to point this out. You guys looking for your dream homestead out there, make sure you check out all the details, see what's advertised, but then look and make sure everything's there in reality on the property. It was advertised as 3 RV sites ready to rent, and what we actually had was an RV site with water and electric and no septic, and then a separate septic system on a separate part of the property with nothing attached to it and no sites put in. So we still had to run the water, the electric, the sewer, the gravel, everything. So a little bit misleading there, but you guys keep your eye on those things. Well, we got after it, and we got beat up. We got beat up good. That first 6 months was brutal. The mortgage weighed heavy on us. We didn't have the extra money to put the money into the place that we needed to get it to the point where it was sufficient enough to live in. We had to really, really, really use our heads to get through that. And it finally just, it beat us up, and we decided to give up, put the place on the market. Well, after 3 or 4 months of some really low offers and a million second thoughts, we decided to take the place off the market. We decided that if it was going to be what we wanted it to be, we were going to have to make it that. Homesteads don't come ready-made, and if they do, you can't afford them. So we took it off the market, and we went to work. We made a plan. We decided the first and most important part of that plan had to be putting in the rest of the RV sites to make the place self-sufficient, make it pay for itself. It was the only way we could free up the income to be able to afford to build the infrastructure and get everything in place that we needed to make it what we needed it to be, what we wanted it to be, what we dreamed of when we bought it. So that's what we did. We went to work. Like I mentioned, we already had one RV in place. The only thing in our way was this mountain of trees. This mountain of trees that I would end up dismantling and moving with a chain in my F-150. That was not a good time, but it certainly was a relief when I got most of them knocked down and out of the way. And then that glorious day when I finally got to rent a Mini X with a thumb. Boy, that made quick work of cleaning that mess up. Sure was nice to get it all burned up, cleaned up, get everything out of the way, and ready to start grading the sites out. Got to know the fire department real well during this time. Always got a burn permit, but they still came by and gave me a visit just to make sure everything was okay. Guys were always impressed with the progress every time they came by. And like I said, it was nice when we finally got the Mini X, was able to get everything graded, start laying the sites out, seeing where they were going, which direction they were pointing, how we were going to have to run the utilities to get to them, and get ready for that first couple loads of rock. That Mini X was a jewel. I'd sure love to have one of those. Maybe someday I will. That thumb on that thing, it made light work of those trees. Got them gone quick, cleaned up and out of the way, just in time for our loads of rock. Now that is a load of gold you're looking at right there. That was one of the most expensive parts of this project. At about $900 a load, 4 or 5 loads will set you in the hole pretty quick. As you can see, we got her spread out. Made a little extra parking area at the site on the right just because we already had a gravel pile there, so figured might as well take advantage and give it a bigger spot. I got all the ditches laid open, had the sewer buried, opened up all the ditches for the water lines and the electric. You can see here we've got the lines all laid in the ditches, ready to go. Had to be really careful though, because it was all slate the whole way. Didn't want to bust that water line back, filling it, covering it up. Certainly didn't want to hurt the electrical line, so took a few extra precautions to cover that up, used some conduit where it was necessary, even though that was a direct buried wire. Got the spots nice and flattened out. One step closer. Finally had to bury the ends of the utilities so I could burn this giant brush pile and get it out of the way. Didn't want to melt them before I could get them hooked up. So I went ahead and buried those and let the fire burn, and burn it did for a good solid 2 weeks. Finally had to push the thing out of the way to let it finish burning because I had more rock coming. We're doing great, making great progress. And then winter came. It came in hard and cold, and it snowed, and the snow melted, and then it froze, and then it stayed around, and it just froze the ground. And so I ended up having to take a propane torch and thaw out the soil so I could get a shovel in the ground. It was so frozen I couldn't dig it up. I had to get the utilities hooked up at the sites so that I could get the sites finished up and get them rented. We had a lot of money out and needed to finally start getting a return on those things. But Mother Nature's Mother Nature, and it does what it will when it wants. It was a beautiful thing. We don't get to see this often in East Tennessee, but when everything's covered in snow, it's a beautiful frame for the place. It really is. I enjoyed looking at it. Didn't enjoy working in it much, but I enjoyed looking at it. You can see here was my great idea when the ground first froze. I thought I'd build a fire and thaw that out. That fire burned for 4 hours, and I didn't get a shovel 4 inches in the ground. That's when I went and bought a propane torch. I knew it was time to step up the pace and get this work done. Site number 1 hooked up. I had a 100 amp box for the main service. That way I could run a 30 amp service to each site, and each site could have its own 20 amp outlet to run a heater hose, keep their hose from freezing. Got site 1 tuned in first. Got tenants ready to move in. Got them all settled in, situated, living there comfortably. They've made a really nice spot out of that too. Well, we had rock coming for the next site. I was thinking about renting a skid steer, but did a little math and realized we'd spent as much money renting skid steers to work on the driveway in the past year as we could spend on a monthly payment for a tractor. So I present Jolene, my wife's loving name for her. She says that's the only woman that can take me from her. Did a great job though. Made quick work of that. Put a few deer feeders out just to kind of help the old girls out. They started showing up everywhere, and my wife made great friends with them. Started clearing out for the site number 4, and Learned a quick lesson in cutting dead trees. Watch your head. Those dead limbs hurt. I had to go to the hospital and get pieced back together there. Good shape now, though. Got the fourth side all fixed up. Sister-in-law moved in, decided to stay in her RV while she found her a new home. And she certainly got it fixed up nice. That was her on the tractor you saw just a minute ago. Those Kirkland girls are just built different. Great help. Finally got someone moved into the other site. Ended up with some really good renters in all of our sites. We've been very lucky with that. I guess now that's all situated, and we've decided to start looking forward to the next project, putting the new barn in. Well, in order to do that, though, the old barn's got to go. As you can see, it is time. That thing is an eyesore. It was okay to use to throw a few things in, keep the bike in, keep a few things kind of out of the rain, but it's definitely time to go. Well, thanks for stopping by, checking out our project. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like us, subscribe, and follow along in our adventure.